Hello and welcome to Coach's Decision, a weekly talk show. We talk sports here in the Bay Area and beyond. My name is Thomas Todd. I'll be your host this evening. With me, he's back in a New York groove. It's Joaquin Nagel. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Thomas. I'm happy to be back in Santa Cruz and back in the KSCO studio.
We missed you, dude. Before we get started with today, because today we got a lot to talk about, a great Monday Night Football game, some sad Lamar Odom news, some turnover with the U.S. national team, a lot to talk about. But you can help out our show directly. If you like this show and you like us and you like sports and sports gear, you can go to fanatics.com or fansedge.com. Go through both of those websites. But if you go through them, through our website, coachesdecisionksco.com, they will throw some much-needed advertising dollars our way. So once again, that's fanatics.com and fansedge.com. They have everything. I'm still eyeing a Michigan State hoodie. It's my birthday Friday, so maybe somebody will get me something. They have free shipping, and you can save over 20% almost instantly just by going on the site, fanatics.com, fansedge.com. Joaquin, we have so much to get through.
There's a lot going on in the world of sports.
We're going to start with a happy story. Top of the show, happy story. Monday Night Football. That was
crazy.
We were both at a trivia night. I was hosting. You were losing.
I won.
You won?
I won.
Okay, on a tiebreaker.
Yes.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
It's like kissing your sister and then getting 2 free pitchers of beer, which should be an incentive. Monday Night Football was happening, and we missed one of the most epic endings of a Monday Night Football game ever. Time running out, Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell lines up in the shotgun, in the Wildcat, and somehow makes his way into the end zone and gets the win over the Chargers. You've gone back and seen the replay, right?
Yeah.
What?
What sort of call is that? Mike Tomlin, what are you doing?
They talked to him after the game, and Tomlin said, oh, well, it's a running play. It only takes 4 seconds. We could have called a timeout. But the way the play ended up going...
It took so long to develop?
It took long to develop, and he had to push his way in and finally just get the ball over the goal line.
The clock zeros, right?
Absolutely,
when the play's whistled dead.
Yeah, it's not like the NBA's clock where they have the little teeny tiny seconds running off.
It's just straight up zeros.
Yeah, it just goes straight to zeros. And as long as there's a beat after it goes to zero, the refs are like, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
So he stretches it across the line. Steelers win, a big win for them, getting back over 500. They're waiting for Big Ben to come back.
Who should be back this week.
So big win for them. Also a big win for females in sports, because the person who made the correct call of touchdown Le'Veon Bell, even though it was close, was Sarah Thomas, who became the first female referee to ref a Monday Night Football game. I thought it was great that I knew about this story going in about her reffing, that she had the game-deciding call.
Yeah, she's just right there on the line.
And then it was upheld by replay, so she did not crack in her big
moment. Upheld everywhere. Not even no one in the booth was questioning it. Nothing.
Yeah, so that was great.
But it was closer than it should have been, right? Because later came out that the officials made a mistake on the kickoff before Pittsburgh's game-winning drive.
Well, that was another thing. Yeah, 18 seconds ran off after
Pittsburgh a touchback.
Received a touchback, and no one said anything
at all.
Now, it probably wouldn't change the outcome for San Diego. Pittsburgh would have just used more time to score.
They could have actually called that timeout.
Yeah, it could have called that timeout. It's not Andy Reid on the sideline. He's not going to bungle an extra 18 seconds. Tomlin knows what he's doing in end-game scenarios, kind of. He would be getting grilled today if Bell didn't score. But, San Diego has a real complaint with the NFL about those 18 seconds, because any amount of time can change a game.
Yeah, both teams.
And the NFL referees say, oh, that's not our fault. That's the San Diego clock operator.
But the NFL referees should be able to change the clock. They can say, please adjust the game clock. That's something you hear referees say all the time.
One of the refs, I can't remember which one on the field, has an official time clock where he is clocking the time in the game. He's supposed to often compare that to the actual time and make sure everything is correct. That just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Sarah Thomas. We're not going to blame her.
No, it wasn't her at all. It's the crew chief more than anyone.
Was that the greatest finish to a Monday night game ever?
Sure. It's certainly the most bizarre.
It's the most bizarre. I can think of a couple, just as far as quality of game goes. I can think of the 2003 game. I'm losing the year here. The 2000 game between the Jets and the Dolphins, where Vinny Testaverde's down 30-7.
And
in the fourth quarter, and they win 37-30 in overtime.
Is that when he headbutt the wall?
No, it's Gus Frerotte. Oh, sorry, they won 40-37.
Those dudes are the same to me. I don't know why.
Vinny Testaverde is one of the coolest quarterbacks ever because he threw a bazillion touchdowns a bazillion interceptions in his career. But he just had this guts and charisma and likability out on the field that everybody just loved.
Yeah, he's also shouted out in a Fife Dog lyric.
Is he really?
Yeah, in some Tribe Called Quest song. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, and he played in New York, and anyone whose name ends with a vowel in New York is going to be beloved.
Yeah.
Another game I remember, Manning came back from 35-14 down against the Bucs in 2003 on just an insane game. The Bucs had that one wrapped up. That was a crazy finish. I was looking through videos. The Packers-Vikings Antonio Freeman overtime grab. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you this after the game if you don't. The guy bats the ball down. The Vikings guy knocks it on the ground. Antonio Freeman is on the ground, and the ball bounces around like his hip. Catches it, picks it up, and runs it in.
Maybe not for endings, but for emotional Monday night games. Brett Favre playing on Monday night.
5 touchdowns against the Raiders the day after his dad died.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense. That was a blowout because it was like 38
right,
to
but that was
or whatever.
In terms of like all-time Monday night games.
Absolutely. Monday Night Football's been very lucky. They've had some really classic games. And I was listening to, I believe, the Packers-Vikings one, and it was the booth with Dan Fouts and Dennis Miller. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, yeah. Dennis Miller used to call Monday Night Football games.
So when it comes to Monday night announcers, who do you take, Dennis Miller or Tony Kornheiser?
Oh, man, that's a tough one because I love Uncle Tony.
Right.
Tony Kornheiser is one of my favorite TV personalities. He just didn't belong there.
Mm-hmm.
He's
never belonged in any booth.
No, I guess not. And he spent so much time as a reporter, and then he spent so much time becoming an intentional clown on television. It just didn't really work out. You know, especially Gruden's so serious. You know, even when he's trying to be funny, everything he says is very serious. Tirico brings a lot of the lighter side and tries to get people engaged in the game because Gruden can't do that. He just slurps quarterbacks the whole time.
He also talks really highly of coaching staffs.
Yeah, well, I'll take Dennis Miller just for the historical references, all the Nazi Germany references and all the weird references he made.
Anytime you can witness someone becoming a libertarian over the course of a football season.
Well, and it was better than having, Rush Limbaugh be an analyst on NFL primetime. That was another completely failed experiment. Guess what, Joaquin? He said something inappropriate and then got fired.
No way.
No way.
Was it along the lines of what Jimmy the Greek said?
It was along the lines of what Jimmy the Greek said. It was more like, I think it was Donovan McNabb. They're saying he's good because they want a black quarterback to be good.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Thank you, Rush.
Yeah,
cutting sports analysis by Mr. Limbaugh.
All right, let's cut it down, and we're going to pare it down. It's going to get sad in here. It might get a little dusty. I got a little dusty on the air this morning trying to talk about this story. Lamar Odom is in a Las Vegas area hospital, and the TMZ quote is always fighting for his life. But he's literally on the fight for his life. There's a 50-50 chance he may not make it.
According to TMZ.
According to TMZ, he was found unresponsive in a Las Vegas area brothel.
Yes.
And the more reports that keep coming out, the more drugs seem to be in his system.
Mm-hmm.
He was found on the floor, turned on his side, and mucus and other substances spilled out of his mouth. It does not look good for Mr. Odom. Even if he does survive this, it's a bad turn. All these fears that we had about his drug problems have been confirmed.
Yeah.
We love Lamar Odom.
Yeah.
We watched him play as a Laker. I don't like the Lakers, but I always liked Lamar Odom.
He had a lot of stops around the NBA, and he seemed to really get along with the fans and the people of the city, even in Dallas where it didn't really work out for him. It was as he was starting to have a few substance issues. Even in Dallas, he was the guy who would stay and wait for every fan who wanted an autograph and talk to every one of them and remember some of them.
So he's had a very troubled life. He has a very poor relationship with his father, who's now trying to take care of him, and the family's kind of shunning him. And that whole dynamic we don't need to get into. He's had an infant child die of SIDS. He's had 2 of his best friends die earlier this year of heroin or heroin-related illnesses.
His mother passed away when he was 3?
Yep, he has a whole family full of addicts. He has made a lot of chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what in his life just by making it to the NBA and making, what did he make, $80 to $100 million in his career?
Yeah, he played for the Heat and the Clippers and the Lakers and was loved in all of those places.
And he made the great E60 about all the candy that he eats, and he had a very positive image.
He won Sixth Man of the Year.
Won Sixth Man of the Year.
He was very important for both those most recent Laker title teams.
So it's just a really tragic story. There's nothing else to say other than it's really tragic, and we're all, you and I before the show, we're checking, just waiting, refreshing to see if there's any news. And Luke Walton said after the Warriors pregame last night, he said, he's like, I love him like a brother. He's family. I almost don't want to check the news because I don't want to see the updates because he just, it can't really get any better.
Mm-hmm. He was such a unique talent. I mean, even just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about who has the best handles, and we were talking about who just different dribbling moves different point guards make. And I just found a clip of Lamar Odom crossing someone over with a beautiful sham god where he went between the other guy's legs, like things like that. Lamar Odom just had all the ability. What is he, 6'9", like a really large frame with smooth handles, passing ability. Just watching Lamar Odom highlights will just cheer you up in this time.
He didn't do any one thing fantastic. He just did a lot of things really well.
And he was blessed with court vision.
Right, and he was perfect for a championship team that had a lot of big personalities. See Bryant, Kobe.
And Bynum, Andrew.
Well, and he was happy just to blend into the background.
Yeah.
I know he eventually got, tied up with the Kardashians, and, Khloe's at the hospital now.
Would it be peace, meta world? Or world peace, meta?
Friend, panda, or whatever, pandas. I don't know if it's apostrophe S. Well, we're rooting for you, Lamar. If you're out there, and if you come back, we'll definitely support you. Get better.
Yeah.
Get with your family. Khloe Kardashian seems like she does actually have a decent head on her shoulders.
Khloe Kardashian has actually tried to do a lot for Lamar. Like as Lamar's drug habit became a reality, the reason that their divorce didn't go through for so long was that Khloe was always trying to salvage their marriage and trying to get him to come to counseling and trying to do everything she could for him. And so I know there were lots of reports about the Kardashians having cameras at the hospital, which were totally untrue. And I just wanted to clear that air a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up the top of the show, and we're going to do a live read here for some support. We're going to talk soccer in our last segment of tonight because we have a lot of soccer chat to do. I'm really excited to hear your takes on the U.S. men's national team.
I'm excited to hear your takes on soccer, Thomas.
Oh, I got them. They're hot. And they're from midfield. I'm going to hit the back of the net. We're proud to be sponsored by local artist Ken Keegan. Ken is a huge fan of baseball, which we're about to talk about. Specifically, his not down and out anymore New York Mets. They have a huge Game 5 tomorrow against the Dodgers. Ken himself is a rubbish ball player, but a very talented artist. You can find his work on artwanted.com by searching his name, Ken Keegan. That's Keegan. We had Ken on the show last week. If you want to hear him talk about his Mets, he's in the top of the show. Once again, that's artwanted.com, and it's Keegan. All right, this is the baseball portion of our program, and we're really excited because there's playoffs, there's Game 5s, there's things wrapping up right now. And we've got on the phone my friend, my colleague, Daniel Zarchi. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good.
You're doing better than the Astros. You're doing better than the Rangers. It's official. No team will win the World Series for the first time this season.
So the question that I have for you, though, is which landed first? Kyle Schwarber's home run or Jose Bautista's bat?
That's a really good question. Schwarber's home run got stuck in the under the E in the Budweiser sign in Wrigley, and Jose Bautista, my goodness, bat flipping has been not huge, but it's been a sub-story of the baseball season. Most people are against it. Some people find it hilarious. I'm in the category where it's pretty hilarious and it makes pitchers mad. Making pitchers mad is kind of fun. But that was a ridiculous bat flip. Is there should we be judging these on scales of 1 to 10 or different categories?
Well, I'd rather do that than have a slam dunk competition or something like that.
Yeah, can we have a synchronized bat flip competition?
Synchronized bat flipping. Is that like the old Looney Tunes bit where Bugs Bunny is just going around the bases, or he's trying to pitch to the guys and the guys are just hitting them out one after the other?
It'd be like synchronized home run derby, where if they both hit a home run, they could both bat flip and then get a score.
Oh, that's pretty good.
There you go.
Add bat flipping to the home run derby?
You want to talk about synchronized home runs? How about the Blue Jays?
Yeah, that's what they do. So what's really exciting about, and I've always been excited about this Blue Jays team because of their offense, because of the power of Donaldson, Bautista and Edward Encarnacion went yard today. Now look at the Cubbies. The Cubbies just decimated the Cardinals with home runs. The Cardinals had a good pitching staff, not as great as it once was, but a good pitching staff. And these young Cubs hitters are just going yuckadoo out the yard and lighting up Wrigley Field and eliminating one of the best franchises who just happened to win 100 games this season.
Well, that tells you two things. One, that the playoffs are a crapshoot, but two, that, the Cardinals were playing on kind of borrowed time because this is, it seems like every month they had was a Pyrrhic month. You know, they won another 25 games, but they lost another 2 starters.
I know that word's only like 7 letters long, but Danny, come on, what's with the $10 words today?
It's radio. I don't have to pay for it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so the Cardinals are eliminated. Dodgers-Mets tomorrow night. You know, we talked about the Chase Utley incident breaking Ruben Tejada's leg. Why have the Dodgers not been playing him? Is there a specific reason, or are they trying to get him not hit? What's up with that?
You know, I think it could be any combination of those. I think the main reason is that he's not their starting second baseman.
Yeah, but he was in enough games where it should be his turn already. You know, they faced, I think, a righty and a lefty, right?
Well, in the game right after that one against Matt, I think they started Howie Kendrick at second, and that was their lineup that they usually use in those sorts of platoon splits. I mean, Chase Utley is not that good anymore. He's not their best second baseman. He's probably not their second best second baseman. You know, and
he might be their best third baseman. He might be their best third baseman, though.
You know, if you're master strategist Don Mattingly, and you can use Utley for what you perceive to be maybe a tiny bit of an advantage, but it presents all these other problems, then maybe you just hold him out. You know, that's obviously not something we want. I mean, even hopefully those among us who like baseball and who want it to remain a good sport aren't actually calling for people to throw at Utley's head. But that is a danger. That is something that pitchers do in these situations.
If Jose Bautista happened to flip his bat somewhere near Chase Utley's head, that would be okay with me. I don't want him necessarily to make contact. I just want to scare the guy a little bit. You know, like shooting at someone's feet.
Well, Chase Utley was one of those guys who, as a Giants fan, you know, I hated him on the Phillies. I always respected him as a player, but he was King Philly. He was the face of the team that we hated. And then he had the spat with Jonathan Sanchez, and I mean all these random things, of course. And then there was the discussion he might end up on the Giants, and we started warming up to him. But you know, he really fits on the Dodgers, is all I would say.
Yeah, well, he fits because we hate him and we hate the Dodgers. So speaking of hating the Dodgers, tomorrow's Game 5. Kershaw just pitched, so it's going to be Greinke, who has been every bit Kershaw's equal this season, even his superior. But both of those guys are on the same level as Jacob deGrom. deGrom's just younger, less experienced, but he proved in I believe, Game 1 of the series that he deserves to be in the conversation with those two guys as some of the best pitchers in the National League. Who has the advantage tomorrow? Is it the Mets because the pitchers are even and the offense is better? Is it the Dodgers because they have a more experienced starter? Which way are you leaning?
You know, the lazy analysis, which of course I tend to drift towards.
That's actually the name of your segment, Danny.
Is that, you know, you give the Dodgers a little bit of a bump for being at home. The question, though, is, you know, something we've seen a lot this playoffs is that home field advantage isn't really worth anything. Because, for example, you saw in the Royals in the Blue Jays series that 4 out of 5 of those games the road team won it. So I'm not really sure how much I would chalk that up. I would like to think that the Mets have a slight advantage because I don't know. There's something about deGrom that makes me believe it more than Greinke, even though they both did it over the whole season. I don't really know what to think, but you know, hopefully Cespedes pulls a Bautista and throws his bat like 800 feet.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a proclivity to do that, and he did have an insanely hot second half. And, you know, for the Dodgers, Adrian Gonzalez has cooled off. Puig's been hobbled. They don't have a powerhouse offense, but it's going to be really interesting to see which team can squeeze runs across, because it's going to be like a lot of bloops. It's going to be a lot of walks. It's going to be a lot of bunts, because you know how much Don Mattingly loves to bunt. But I think it's really going to come down to some scratchy, scrapey baseball. And why shouldn't Chase Utley play in a game like that? That's what he's known for.
Well, because Howie Kendrick is a better baseball player. That's why. That's the answer to your question of why isn't Chase Utley playing.
Okay, just a thought. I just, you know, well, they suspend the guy, everyone makes a big stink about it, and then he doesn't even play. What were we just talking about?
You know, well, and also something that came out is that the commissioner's office apparently approached Utley and said, we'll give you a 1-game suspension if you don't appeal. And he turn that down.
Yeah, he was always going to appeal. Yeah, that was never going to happen. That's like, that's not even close to happening. That's like the whole Tom Brady thing with the NFL. It's like, yeah, if you just let this go, 2 games? How about 2 games? He's like, no games. Never. No games. So I agree with that decision by Utley.
What that tells me, though, is that, he could have taken a 1-game suspension and then just sat out a game, which is what he ended up doing anyway. So what that tells me is that the Dodgers want to be right. They don't want to admit fault.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that.
That's the more important thing.
And it's unfortunately that Tejada broke his leg, but Utley only slightly broke a rule. He more broke Tejada's leg than he broke a rule.
There are a lot of things wrong with that play. And like I think everyone is saying, we're probably going to see a rule change in the offseason.
Okay, well, I want you to make a prediction. Pitchers duel tomorrow or crazy Game 1 2010 World Series like 10-9 game?
Like you said, all signs point to a pitcher's duel, which means I think that there are going to be 15 runs scored this game.
Sweet. I agree. I kind of agree with that. I like when the game goes, I don't want to say what I was going to say because there's a swear word in it, but I like when games get wonky-donkey. How about that?
Bonkers.
Bananas. I like bananas. The world's running out of bananas, so we need to savor them while we have them. All right, Danny, stay on the line. We're going to do our NFL picks, but first, our NFL picks segment is sponsored by Woodstock's Pizza. 7 Woodstock's locations, actually 7.5 if you count the little shop they have in IV in Isla Vista. Woodstock's Pizza has 7 locations with NFL Sunday Ticket. You can watch football. You can watch the baseball playoffs there. They all have beer, 16 ounces, 33 ounces, pitchers, mixed drinks at a couple locations, lots of good pizza, chicken wings called Man Cave Wings for some reason, but it's all very delicious. It's all good. Woodstock's is home of sports, home of college-esque drinking in California. It's really the place to be when you want to just go and relax and watch stuff and drink beer. So we appreciate Woodstock's Pizza support. I'm going to watch some games there on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. The one in Santa Cruz just added a couple extra TVs. So now you can't go anywhere in the store without a TV blowing you in the face. All right, we're going to talk NFL picks, and yes, I just phrased it like that by mistake. We will move on. NFL picks, we're going to start with our game tomorrow night, which games in the NFC South are stinkers.
Oh, yeah.
I want this division to just fall off the face of the earth. There's 2 undefeated teams in this division, and I still want it to go away.
There are 2 undefeated teams in the division, and no one's convinced either of them are good.
Yeah, no one thinking they're going to win a home playoff game. So we got the Falcons minus 3.5 over the Saints. Zarchi, what do you think in this one?
I'm thinking Falcons minus 3.5. I think that the Falcons can score at will, and particularly against the Saints' terrible defense.
Yeah, I
think Breeze does get the primetime at home bump that he normally sees, but it's still Thursday. Thursday games suck. The running game is going to win out.
Yeah, they got blown up by the Eagles. Chip Kelly's offense, which has been much maligned, scored 39 points on them. So I'm also going with the Falcons. The Saints are a mess. Falcons play well in domes. They don't have to travel too far. It's kind of a home environment. The Saints haven't had a good home field advantage the last 2 years. Victoria.
It's a rivalry game, so both teams are going to be bringing it, but the Falcons are going to bring it a hell of a lot harder because...
Hey, I'm ready for it. Come on, bring it.
Well, and Julio. It should be alliteration, okay?
Orange Julio Jones.
He's still questionable to play, but I don't think that's going to stop Atlanta from killing it.
Okay.
I think that Atlanta goes ahead early and that Drew Brees can't lead a comeback anymore. I just don't see it. I don't think he has the arm strength. I don't think that he can lead the Saints from behind. I'm taking the Falcons.
We're all going Falcons, which sucks because, Tory, read the standings. Where are we at?
Let's see. In the lead would be me just barely with 13, 10, and 3.
We all stink.
Danny with 13, awful. 11, and 2. Joaquin with 11, 8, and 2 because someone had a nice week off.
Someone took a sabbatical.
Yeah. And you in last place, Thomas, with 11, 12, and 2.
There was some squeakers in there, though.
Let's just say that a lot of the nationally televised games would be normally stay away affairs, but we're having to pick them.
Yeah.
So we're doing what we can.
A lot of those teams won but didn't beat the spread.
Didn't cover, yeah. And I want to say, should one of us take a bye week every week? Should we all try to even it out with Joaquin, or should we just continue to outpace him? You guys have any thoughts on that?
I was thinking we could just give Joaquin 5 ties.
Push machine.
Push machine. That's good.
I'm fine with the idea of taking a bye week.
Okay, well, we'll see if our schedules get cluttered. If anyone gets cluttered and can't be on the show, we can go ahead and say, you can take that week off. Let's move on to the Eagles. I said Eagles versus the Saints. That's not true. Eagles versus the New York Giants. I'm going to start with Joaquin. The spread is Eagles by 3.5 at home.
I'm taking the Giants.
Taking the Giants?
I'm taking the Giants.
Believing in the Book of Eli?
I've always.
Victoria?
G-Men are looking as good as they can right now, which really isn't saying much.
They just beat the 49ers at home on a last-second touchdown. How good
They're
does that
gonna win
look?
the division.
Oh, great.
As good as they can look
So
right
are the
now.
Falcons.
What is it, the NFC least?
Yeah.
How many times are the Giants going to play in primetime this season? Didn't they not make the playoffs
How many
last
times
year?
is the NFC East going to be in primetime this season?
Oh, my God. It's
Hey,
the division they love.
Eli's only thrown 2 interceptions this season, so I'm proud of him for that.
So are you saying he's going to throw 5 this game? That's not supporting your pick of the Giants.
Danny, what do you got?
I'm going with the New York Football Giants. I think they're good. I think the Eagles are not. And I don't really know why the Eagles are favored in this game.
See, I've been arguing that the Giants are good, but I'm actually going to flip it and go with the Eagles minus 3.5 here.
Trying to make up some ground on the rest of us, Thomas?
No, I did almost flip over to the Saints, though, just to be a stinker. But Chip Kelly's team got back on track last week against the Saints. Sometimes you just need to see the bottom
We
of
were
the net.
just saying how bad the Saints are.
I know, but you need to see the bottom of the net sometimes just to make the next shot go in. They get to stay at home, which 2 home games in a row is really an advantage because a lot of home cooking, light practices, and you're right as rain, no travel. This week has been all about Eli Manning, which is concerning. People are saying, oh, he's finally better than Peyton. They crossed, and now Manning's the elite brother, and his teammates came out and said, we trust this guy, we love this guy, he's our favorite guy. And that's usually when Eli comes around and breaks everybody's heart. So I'm going to go with this being the heartbreaking Eli Manning game on the road in Philly.
Do you think Eli Manning loves chicken parm?
He knows how good it tastes. He's just not allowed to have any.
Okay.
All right, our last primetime game. I saved this one because this is going to be the most fun. Patriots minus 9.5 over the Colts. I'll start. This spread should be 30. And I'd still take the Patriots. They have slaughtered the Colts in their last 4 meetings. They owned late-era Peyton Manning. They own Andrew Luck. They just own this series, and they are mad as all can be about Deflategate, about everything that went
they're
down.
not going to take it anymore.
Losing lots of money, losing draft picks. You know how much Bill Belichick loves draft picks? They're his favorite thing. He likes draft picks more than he likes his family members and his current players. And I don't even know what order those last 2 things go in. So I'm going to take the Patriots minus 9.5 and sleep very easily. Victoria.
Better luck next time.
Wow, Joaquin.
Taking the Patriots.
Danny.
You can't set this line high enough.
Oh.
They blew out the Colts by, 27 in the playoffs, and since then the Patriots have gotten better and the Colts have gotten worse.
Well, we know the balls are going to be at proper temperature and PSI and that, right? That's not a concern before the game?
Yep. Maybe someone will actually fumble.
All right, it's time for our wild card games. Joaquin, I haven't started with you yet. Give me your first wild card.
First wild card, I'm taking the Broncos over the Browns because even if I don't think Peyton is great, he still covers, and as long as he covers, I'm taking him.
Broncos over Browns. What is this, 1990 or 1988 rather?
Yeah, Broncos, they're giving 4.5 points on the road, but I'm still taking them.
That's a tough one. This Cleveland team is not good, but they're not really as terrible as we want them to be.
The Broncos are going to win by a touchdown.
Okay.
I'm okay.
They need to score a touchdown. In 3 games this season, they haven't scored an offensive touchdown, and that's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get defensive touchdowns every week. Danny, your first wild card game.
I am going Jags plus 1.5 against Texans.
Uh-huh.
I'm going with the tried and true rule of always pick against Texans, especially when they're on the road.
Yeah, that's what actually I have written here. Jacksonville plus 1 over Houston. My only note is keep picking against Houston. Like a note to self. I must have had that on my fridge or something. Do you have it at 1.5?
Who's their quarterback?
Ryan Mallett / Brian Hoyer. Probably the worst quarterback situation in the league.
I'm pretty sure they just picked 2 quarterbacks with similar sounding first names so that Bill O'Brien could yell it out and hope somebody else makes the decision for him.
Just Ian.
Tall Ryan. A regular sized Brian. Because Ryan Mallett's like 6'7", 6'8".
Hey, coach, put in Ruin.
Who's starting this week?
Ian.
So do you have it 1 or 1.5? Because I had it at 1.
Yeah, this afternoon it was 1.5.
Okay, we'll lock it in at 1.5 just because I took the point. So you can
You're going to take the half point?
Tory.
I took Packers -10 over the Chargers.
Another team that keeps covering.
Chargers couldn't beat Mike Vick at home. There's no way they're beating the Packers at Lambeau. Not by a long
My
shot.
notes say keep picking Aaron Rodgers.
Imagine if Aaron Rodgers played Houston.
Oh, my goodness.
Houston actually did win one game against the spread, which was funny because they were 6-point favorites over the Bucks, and they covered.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really weird way to be 1-4 against the spread so far. I'm going to go, I already said Jacksonville over Houston, so I'll do my second one. Panthers +7 over Seahawks. I know Cam loves the kids, and that's Joaquin's answer every week. But I legitimately think Panthers on the road. This game is always punts, punts, punts. I've seen these two teams play before. A lot of punting. Offenses can't get it done. Panthers aren't as good as their undefeated record indicates, but Luke Kuechly is back. Defensive game, take the points. Danny.
I'm going with Niners.
Oh, what a shocker.
I said Niners +2.5 against the Ravens. Finally, a game I can root for. The Niners can't block the pass rush, but luckily the Ravens can't rush. So I think Kaepernick has time in the pocket. I think everything kind of comes together. And I said last week that I wouldn't bet on them until they prove they can score. And, it didn't come out as a win, but they look pretty good.
I think the Niners offensive line and the Ravens defensive line should just shake hands and sit down Indian style and just let everyone else do all the work.
Tea party.
Just big.
I would be perfectly
Get
happy
the big
with
parachute
that.
out.
Those would be the largest crumpets I've ever seen. All right, who hasn't done their second game? Joaquin?
Packers over Chargers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. And Tory?
Bengals -3.5 at the Bills. Bengals are dominating. They're still waffling over whether Taylor will be starting or not. Taylor says he's starting, but everyone else is saying,
Wait, who?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. Sorry, I was thinking about the Bengals.
Yeah.
Todd Taylor.
Todd Taylor.
He says he's starting. Everyone else is like, we don't think we're going to be starting him. So
How could you name your kid after a car part?
I named
Tire-
him after a
tire
car.
rod.
Tyrod, yeah.
Tire rod.
No, tie rod is a thing. It's, I think, something that keeps the wheel on the axle
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. A mechanic told me I needed one, and then my car crapped out. So, because
There you go.
I didn't actually replace it.
How long ago was that?
Maybe-
A decade?
What, Danny?
Thomas, maybe he meant you need a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I need a Tyrod Taylor in my life. I do love all football things related to Taylor because I've been rewatching Friday Night Lights, and Coach Taylor is my favorite character. Actually, Mrs. Coach. Tammy Taylor is one of my favorite TV characters of all time. So if anyone hasn't seen Friday Night Lights and you like football, you should go watch that show now. Or even if you just like crying. That's good too.
Yep.
So that works for me. Football and crying, two of my favorite
You
things.
love
You could
crying.
just watch the movie for that.
Yeah, that's true, but this lasts so much longer.
Well, you want a really good cry.
Yeah, you want a nice long 5-6 season cry. Danny, what'd you say?
No, I love Friday Night Lights. I think it's great.
Good,
All right.
good hot take, Danny. Continue. We're gonna let you talk.
Name the Disney movie flop that Tim Riggins is in.
John Carter from Mars, Princess of Mars.
Princess from Mars.
Yeah. Is there princess?
Name the
So they found water on Mars.
ridiculously boring John Carter.
They found water on Mars. Did they find any princesses? Any frozen princesses? Okay, that's too much. All right, that's the end of our NFL pick segment. Tori's going to publish those tomorrow, and they'll be up for your viewing pleasure. Log in on Sunday and look at how bad our picks are doing. It's a lot of fun. Remember to go to Woodstock's Pizza if you're going to watch some games this weekend. They've got every game on Thursday night, Sunday all day, Monday night. Beer specials. It's happy hour all day Sunday. I know that for a fact in the Santa Cruz store. So anytime on Sunday, beer will be $1 off or $1.50 off a very large beer. All right, Joaquin, it's time for our little segment. I'm going to kick Tori and Danny off the air. Danny, thank you for coming on, my man. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you.
All right, so now it's just me and you, buddy.
All right.
Mutual massaging. How about that? I can't really
Lots
reach
of
you.
eye contact.
Oh, so much eye contact. You're giving me the Kubrickian stare right now. We want to talk about soccer. Sorry, you want to talk about soccer.
Yes.
I'm complicit in this, though. I will talk
You
about
were the
soccer.
one who brought up soccer.
I did bring up
Let
soccer.
the record show.
I love international friendlies. I love international
Do
meanies.
you love,
I love
ascribing meaning to international friendlies?
Yeah, I love international baddies. I've seen all 3 Taken movies. Couple of James Bond movies here and there.
I'm more of an equalizer guy myself, but
Okay. That's a soccer term, too. That's good. Very good. So the U.S. lost to Mexico 3-2 over the weekend, but then they also lost a friendly to Costa Rica. But the roster looked a lot different.
Yes.
Jurgen Klinsmann sent Fabian Johnson home. He left Dempsey and Beckerman and another guy I can't remember. He started Tim Howard between the pipes. What was his strategy going into that? Did he not care? Is he trying to build for the future? What's going on with Team USA?
Squad rotation. So the thing about the USA is that it's never had a very deep player pool before bringing Jurgen Klinsmann in to be the manager and director of player development. In the past, the USA has had a relatively tight squad, and they've been renowned for their fitness and for their guile and their ability to play hard the whole time and just wear people down, or to stay fortified and not concede. But Jurgen Klinsmann's trying to institute a style of play where they possess the ball and they attack, and he's also looking farther afield for players. Like, you have the kid from Stanford who gets in the side, and you have all these children of U.S. servicemen in Germany who get in the side, but he's scouring the world over, and he's actually like exploring all the different options, and that's part of his mandate as a coach.
Right, and so they're not going to start World Cup qualifying until November, so they have a chance to, like I said, overhaul the roster a little bit and integrate the veterans back in. Yeah, those guys are always ready.
He needs to see what he has also going into qualification.
Okay, but I don't like losing matches, even if they're friendlies, even if they're not associated with any particular cup. Wins are good for teams.
Wins are good for morale.
Good for teams.
So last year, the U.S. had a great year when it came to playing friendlies
beat Brazil.
in Europe. They had Jurgen Klinsmann's the first U.S. manager to win away games in Europe, and consistently.
But the thing is, they just lost 3 straight home games, and those aren't the games you're supposed to lose.
Well, calling the USA-Mexico game a home game is very, very generous.
They need to play that like we talked about on Monday morning. Columbus. Play it anywhere that no one in Mexico knows where it is.
Let's say Columbus.
Do they have any stadiums in Montana? Even Canada's a home game for the U.S. compared to Los Angeles. 90,000 people, 89,000 Mexican or Mexican-American people, and 1,000 raging Joaquin-era soccer fans just waving their
flags. American Outlaws, I think they're called.
Is that what they're called?
That's the traveling U.S. group.
I didn't know Kid Rock was a soccer fan.
Yeah. He's back.
Well, there's some more soccer to talk about.
Well,
you want to? You have some thoughts?
I just want to be clear about like what Jurgen Klinsmann's mandate is as the leader of U.S. soccer.
You want to go on a mandate with Jurgen Klinsmann? Is that what you just told me?
No.
Where would you go to dinner? Where would he take you?
Oswald.
Where would you? Oswald. Hey, they're not a sponsor.
They're kind of classy. Just saying. You ever go to what Jurgen's wearing? He would fit right in there.
Is that a site?
Yeah, it's a Tumblr.
Of course it is.
So, but he's been brought in to widen the player pool and to increase youth development in U.S. soccer and overhaul the whole youth system and overhaul how the U.S. develops players and how they bring them into the team.
He's looking for Freddie Adoos, not Freddie Adon'ts.
Exactly. So,
I know are 10-year-old soccer references. Tori, your mic's not on. You can't boo.
But given that, I don't think that a 1-0 loss to Costa Rica with a heavily rotated squad says anything about the job he's doing in terms of looking for players.
Yeah, you keep saying squad, and I keep thinking squad goals would be a pretty good intramural soccer team name.
It'd be perfect.
All right, well, can we talk about the Dutch now?
Yeah.
Because I root for the Netherlands when they play. I love their colors. I like their players. Total football is a fun concept that was at the 70s. They introduced that. So I've always been kind of a fan. They will not be playing in Euro.
Yeah.
Which is, you told me on Monday they expanded the field from 16 to 24. They're not one of the 24 best soccer teams. They were just all over the World Cup.
They were third. They still have
Van Persie, right?
There's a tradition of teams coming in third at the World Cup and then not qualifying for the next Euro Championship.
Well, that happens in the NFL when you lose the Super Bowl, you almost never make the playoffs next year. But did Robin retire or something?
Robin's been injured.
Okay.
Van Persie has been playing like garbage.
The Flying Dutchman. He had an own goal. Wrong goal, Van Persie.
Yeah. Well, and then also Louis van Gaal, who was their coach for the World Cup, is now coaching at Manchester United. He's now the manager at United. He's no longer with the national team.
Oh, so you can't do both.
So this whole qualification cycle, they've had a different coach. They've been trying to have a different system, They've been trying to integrate new players with Robin injured and Van Persie out of form, and it's not working. And there's been long, even going into last World Cup, there were reports of unrest in the Dutch camp about how the players don't really get along, how there are a lot of young players who are up and coming who still play in the Dutch leagues who don't actually make that much money per week, trying to play alongside guys like Robin and Van Persie and Snyder who make over 100,000 euros a week, and how it just doesn't line up, and how there wasn't a good rapport in the camp. It's not like you get USA Basketball together and all those guys are making millions and millions of dollars a year, and they're sort of in the same financial strata.
I can't even believe those guys want to play. Well, now the guys they're playing against in USA Basketball are also multi-millionaires. You know, you've got I can't think of the Argentinian guy on the Spurs, Ginobili. You've got the Gasol brothers, all have big contracts.
Splitter and
even
Nene.
Like Mario Hezonja is the rookie for, I believe he plays for the Magic now, from Italy. You know, any team you play in international basketball now, some of those guys make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so that's more.
That's more even. But so for a lot of international sides for soccer, like Spain, almost all of the players on Spain play for Madrid or Barcelona, or the English guys. All the English guys play in the Premier League, and all of those clubs have money. Whereas the Dutch side, it's more stratified, and that's caused unrest and issues. And now they're out of the Euro Championships.
Okay, well, let's switch over to one of your least favorite sports, basketball.
Oh no.
It's a challenging show for you.
This is rough.
I know you're having a rough patch. So I almost said the Santa Cruz Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have looked fairly lackluster in the preseason. Pedestrian. They're 1-2. They scored 17 points in the third quarter yesterday against the Denver Nuggets.
Sure.
Doesn't bother you?
No.
Okay, because it doesn't bother me either. It bothers me watching bad basketball.
Yeah, don't watch.
Watching them try to work Festus Ezeli's hands in the post.
Trying to let Festus shoot a lefty hook instead of a righty hook.
Oh my goodness, that guy can look so lost on offense sometimes. I like when he's rolling to the basket. He's real good around the rim then, but he can look real bad. A couple of storylines. Steph Curry apologized to the world.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's done a lot of wrong things in his life. He won an MVP. He won a title, but he did it all while being lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
he said.
Hold on. Did you know that he rarely ever practices shooting?
Never.
Yeah, that he actually takes 9 months of the year off from shooting, except in games.
I heard he doesn't play defense.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't play defense. He led the league in steals, but he just kept those balls just popped into his lap.
Yeah, I heard actually Iguodala tipped him to Curry intentionally over and over again because he's just such a good teammate.
All right, so what did Curry say exactly? You have the quote.
Yeah, so when asked about all the comments around the league about how the Warriors got lucky and all of that, Steph said, in a very sarcastic tone, he said, "I just want to say I apologize for us being healthy. I apologize for us playing who's in front of us. I apologize for all the accolades we've received as a team and individually. I'm very, truly sorry."
You know what you do after the NBA season is when you win the championship, the team that, quote, thinks they got eliminated wrongly or, oh, we might have beat those guys, just play them.
Yeah.
I know it's a long season, but take a week off, drink some champagne, and then bring them to the hard court, because they would have whooped the Clippers.
Oh, easily.
They already whooped the Rockets, who whooped the Clippers. You know, they would have beat the Spurs.
Yeah, Klay Thompson said, yeah, I wanted to play the Clippers last year, but they couldn't handle their business.
They couldn't. They're up 17, up 20, whatever it was in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. James Harden wasn't even in that game. They let Josh Smith turn into what Zach Lowe calls left-handed LeBron.
I like they let Josh Smith turn into what Josh Smith thinks Josh Smith is.
Anytime you can say Josh Smith that many times in a sentence.
You have to try.
Adam Carolla has this theory about how you know someone's kind of an a-hole is when you're describing them, you use their name in the sentence a lot. He uses Jimmy Kimmel as an example, who's not an a-hole, but he says, Jimmy, you know, Jimmy's Jimmy, you know, and you have conversations with him, but then Jimmy, you never know what Jimmy's going to say. The more time you use their name, the
more you know. Well,
the more you know.
Josh Smith is out there.
He's exactly like that. All right, we're going to go to our last sponsor break. Go Warriors, by the way. Let's have a repeat.
Go Dubs.
Go Dubs. Our last sponsor today, 99 Bottles on Walnut between Pacific and Cedar in downtown Santa Cruz. It is a premier dining and drinks destination. I wish I still had time to drink. I would love to grab a pint or a mixed drink down there. I do still have time to drink. Drink selections from domestic to hard-to-find beers, a full bar, over 100 choices of what you can drink. It's almost difficult to get through anything on that menu because it's so large. They also have food, delicious chicken Philly with waffle fries that I like, a sausage sandwich I've had there, very good. Also trivia night. I'm a big trivia fan, trivia host, trivia player. I was on Jeopardy if anybody cares about that. But trivia night there is a must with Marisa Gomez every Wednesday night during this show at 8 o'clock. Feel free to go to trivia night and then just come on back and listen to the podcast. Don't have to listen live. You can go to Marisa's trivia night and then listen to us. And finally, for sports fans, they've got all the TVs that you need. They'll put everything on that you want. They got a big one upstairs, some smaller ones behind the bar. Very good view, very nice bar. Thank you to 99 Bottles. All right, it is time for Tory Topics, where Producer Tory comes on and I don't make any bad jokes.
That's not going to happen.
I'm going to try. We're going to get through it. We have what we got, 8 minutes. All right, we can do this.
Can we first take a moment to remember that Dre called the Rockets and Clippers bitter and scorned ex-girlfriends?
Oh, Draymond is my favorite.
He's always been my favorite, and James Harden has a bunch of bitter and scorned ex-girlfriends, so...
Mm-hmm. He's part of the Kardashian train now, so...
Oh, my goodness. Let's not...
Swag.
Let's
as James Harden would say, swag.
Let's avoid going the Lamar Odom route, James.
All right.
Oof.
So this one's near and dear to my heart because anyone that follows me on Twitter
Wait,
or...
aren't you into, like, skeletal biology? You said heart, but you put your hand in the middle of your chest. Isn't your heart over here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sorry. Bad joke. I broke already.
Uh-oh.
Near and dear to my heart because of how much I watched Hard Knocks this season and fell in love with it. Charles James II has been promoted to the active roster of the Ravens.
Oh, good. I will no longer bet against the Texans. Wait, that has nothing to do with it.
Charles
what
James.
was his backstory? Why did you like that guy so much?
He wore silly socks.
Aww.
He was a small cornerback, so he always got a lot of grief because his tackles weren't great, but he was still always on it. But then he started playing running back and got to score a touchdown and kept the ball, and he was super excited about it.
It's the least cute story I've ever heard.
But
I'm trying to help here, Thomas. I'm trying to make it cute.
He got traded over to the Ravens for the practice team, and he just got promoted up to the active roster. So we're very happy for him.
It's
Congratulations from all of us at Coach's Decision.
You're officially a stalker, by the way.
That's how the internet works.
You get emotionally attached to these
people. Has he tried to slide into your DMs yet? That's a Twitter thing. Sorry.
He was just like, yo,
Hey,
Tory,
girl,
Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill.
Hulu and hang.
Hulu and hang. Prime and I can't think of anything else. Dang.
So, Steelers' D'Angelo Williams, not allowed to wear pink year-round to honor his mother, so he found a creative way to get around NFL uniform regulations.
Pink fingernails.
Toenails, and he dyed his hair pink.
Okay. Those things the NFL cannot control.
Yeah. The NFL wouldn't let D'Angelo Williams wear a pink breast cancer awareness wristband all year round, so he's going to pay for 53 mammograms as a tribute to his mother's age.
One per guys on his roster?
No.
Number of guys on an NFL roster.
The age in which his mother died of breast cancer.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you feel like a jerk now?
No, I wish he'd held on a couple more years so he could have got some more mammograms.
He also lost 4 aunts to the disease. And
4 aunts?
Yeah.
That's like 24 legs.
Oh, my God. And we're derailed. So it's really near and dear for him.
Well, good for D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, he's paying for it's going to be over $10,000 worth of medical procedures for underprivileged women in Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
I acknowledge that sports leagues do honor women and women's health issues in 1 month a year, but they fail to acknowledge a lot of the fans that actually are women. They really kowtow to men, and I really wish they would understand that there are almost as many female sports fans out there as male sports fans, and a lot of the reasons that young women don't feel like they should watch sports
or
is
express their fandom.
Yeah, or express their fandom is because the leagues do not cater to them at all, and when they try, they fail. And breast cancer awareness isn't really a way to do it, but at least they're doing something.
Hey, the Red Sox nailed it, though.
The Pink Hats. Yeah.
Pink Hats.
And the Giants are Red Sox West now, so what are you going to do about that? All right, Tori.
All right, so we gotta love NBA preseason. J.R. Smith went into the stands and bought cotton candy mid-game.
Now, if you had told me a couple years ago J.R. Smith goes into the stands, I would be very concerned for any guy that looked like Turtle from Entourage after what happened to the Artest melee. So he bought cotton candy from a fan, for a fan?
No, he went into the stands to a cotton candy vendor and bought cotton candy for himself.
My guess was that he was just going to try to slide into some DMs.
DMs at section 222.
Yeah. Was it at Tinder night? Like, was it when the Atlanta Hawks held Tinder night? Was this like preseason Tinder night?
What about Grinder night?
J.R. Smith
no,
night.
it's where they give away sandwiches.
It's always J.R. Smith night.
We love J.R. Smith. All right,
he's just heading to the stands trying to weigh the...
Take the lay of the land. How about that?
All right.
Roaring 20s birthday party for one of his closest friends, LeBron donned a sweet hairpiece and made fun of his own hairline.
Now, the Roaring 20s, that's pre-civil rights, right?
How about LeBron just dons his own hairline during the season and not a triple-size headband?
He can just Sharpie something in for himself, right?
Respect the genes, LeBron.
Just go with it, man. Jordan made it work.
Now, God or Darwin...
Kobe moved away from the fro.
God or Darwin or whoever gave LeBron everything he'd ever wanted physically in his life. They gave him large muscles, a big frame, speed, jumping ability, and just no hairline. Just accept it.
It's
you
okay.
have everything else.
Next thing you know, he's going to go all Carlos Boozer with the shoe polish.
It's just so unfair. They don't get to wear hats. They don't get to wear helmets. They have to go.
Who does he think he is? Wayne Rooney with the hair plugs? That was a soccer joke in case you didn't get it, Thomas.
Out of courtesy.
Okay.
Tori, one more story.
All right. So a group of Royals fans is trying to get the British royal family to throw out the first pitch if they make it to the World Series. They are calling the campaign Royals to Royals.
Jungle to jungle? I'm confused. Wouldn't they try to get Lord? Wouldn't that be even better?
That would be great.
Because then they could play the song and...
I'm sure they already do play the song.
Well, people who are playing against the Royals, like I remember last year's playoff run, the teams that were playing against them, the local radio stations were refusing to play that song because it just pumps that word out over and over again. So maybe that'll happen again this season. I'd rather see her throw out a first pitch than, well, maybe the Queen, but...
Kate,
yeah, Pippa.
Mm-hmm.
They can at least get Pippa.
No, get Baby George.
Baby George.
What about Prince Charles? Is he still around?
One more real quick one.
Okay. Giants tight end Daniel Fells had a portion of his foot